Howard has been scraping away, getting rid of most of the gunk, and we found quite a few areas where the glue had not cured properly, mainly on that outside band, so it's been re-glued a bit. Now, a scraper is a wonderful thing when you're scraping a flat surface, and when it's properly sharp, which this isn't anymore really. But once you have a bump, and there's a bump there, for example, then a scraper will just accentuate that bump, at which point you need to use a chisel. Now, this just goes like that. To be honest, actually a plane also works just as well. A nice, very sharp, low angle block plane. So I'm running this chisel along the top to give me a reference point. And in a couple of seconds, well, I'm finding bumps that I can't even see. And you can just go along and get rid of them like that. And then once you've got the bumps clear, you can go back to a scraper. I would suggest that a nice low angle block plane might even be the better tool on a flat top like this. I use Violin Maker's thumb planes on a carved top. Anything with a blade, basically. You don't want to sand this because it would melt with the heat. Anyhow, back to Howard. The next stage, this binding is now basically flush with the top and looking, well, it's Apprentice Howard's first ever binding attempt, and it's still a bit messy around the sides where the glue is, but to all intents and purposes it's looking rather good. You can see how soft this wood was. It's a bass wood or a something like that. We need a carve, because I say so, basically. We might as well make this a bit more comfy. And in order to get this carve, Howard is going to be using an angle grinder with a flap wheel. And he says he's been looking forward to this since watching the videos several years ago of me doing the same thing. And very basically, obviously, clamp your piece of work down, clamp your guitar body down to the bench, and in small passes you're taking wood away, like so. And you will be amazed at how precise you can be with this tool. And well, that's all I can say. Wear a dust mask. Definitely wear a dust mask. Here's something interesting. The top that we put on this guitar was perfectly flat, and one thing we forgot, because this looks flat, we didn't bother checking, and it turns out that the back has a bit of a bow in it that way, and the top is, and the front at least, is curved. So we do have a drop top, an unintentional drop top. But yes, another thing that I didn't even consider worrying about, seeing it as a four-piece body. But this is a kit guitar and we're all learning. So I think that's where we need to carve, and I'm going to let Howard loose with an angle grinder now. Right, there we go. Satisfying?
That was so good. I enjoyed that so much.
Excellent. We aim to please. So at this stage, Howard is using a scalpel blade, a new scalpel blade, to just scrape away excess glue and gunk that's gathered up on the side of the binding. We've got a thin piece on the edge there, so we're being very careful not to go through. And once that's tidied up and relatively flat, then we can attack it with a sandpaper block and clean up the edges. So far, getting the scratches from the production of the body blank out is proving to take as much time as it took us to do the binding in the first place. Still,
I think if I'd have known how bad they were beforehand, I would probably have opted to do that first before we started doing anything else on the body with the guitar build at all.
I absolutely agree with you. There we go.
Never mind. There we go.
So next time, if you're going to do binding, make sure the edges of your guitar are scratch free, or at least don't have 40 grit sandpaper marks in them. Onwards and upwards.